apply pressure on you, man. You can get to putting the police in the business. Quit motherfucking me putting the motherfucking me police in the business. That's why I don't be wanting no beef with you, bitch ass, cause you niggas always put the motherfucking me police in the business.
Memphis rapper just walked out of a Texas jail cell and immediately pointed the finger at one of his own. After getting arrested for the third time in 4 months, Finesse2Tymes is back on the streets, but his girlfriend FNG Suga is still locked up on a $526,000 bond.
Suge finna come home too, cause on her federal hold, she got a bond on it. All they gotta do is come talk to her first. They gotta come talk to her first. When they come talk to her, the bond gonna be active, and then I'll be able to make the bond. I'm finna have to spend about about 30 getting Suge out, but she coming home. I ain't studying this shit.
On January 15th, Finesse2Tymes got picked up in Rusk County, Texas, alongside Suga. But hours after making bond, he jumped on Instagram and dropped a bombshell accusation against fellow Memphis rapper Moneybag Yo, claiming Bag put the police on him.
So he said Bag put the police on me. Yo, chat, I ain't gonna lie to you. This is like a dope strategy. Of course, Moneybag Yo ain't put the police on him, like, you know what I mean? But it's always dope to like accuse your enemy of like cooperating with the cops when you get in trouble, right? So y'all be wanting me to stay in jail so bad I don't carry nothing but Zah, Yerk, and or two. Y'all really some haters.
This situation involves Finesse2Tymes, real name Ricky Hampton, a 33-year-old Memphis rapper who's been in and out of custody in East Texas since September 2025. The pattern is getting hard to ignore.
Ricky Hampton, known as Finesse2Tymes, was pulled over by Tyler PD Friday evening for not wearing a seatbelt. During the stop, officers reported smelling marijuana and spotted a hand-rolled paper cigar inside the car. Hampton's passenger was also seen grabbing a bag from the floorboard, prompting a search.
3 arrests in 4 months, all in the same region, all involving similar charges. And now he's throwing accusations at one of Memphis's biggest artists, claiming snitching and police involvement.
Yeah, and then he tried to say that Bag the one that put him in jail, say Bag sent him to jail. And he also went off on Young Thug now. Well, he was just talking about, you know, like, because people calling Finesse2Tymes a snitch. And he was like, man, so he said Young Thug and them knew Gunner was snitching, but that was still was with him, you know. I'm gonna let y'all, boy, Finesse2Tymes, go ahead and finish.
This goes way deeper than what you saw on social media. From the first traffic stop in Smith County back in September to Finesse walking free while his girlfriend sits behind bars today, this story has turns nobody expected. Here's what actually went down. Let me break down the arrests, the accusations, and what this means for 2 Memphis rappers who used to be on the same team. Let's start from the beginning. To understand this, you gotta know who Finesse2Tymes really is in the Memphis rap scene. Ricky Hampton, known as Finesse2Tymes, came up in Memphis during a time when the city's rap scene was exploding. He dropped tracks like Back End and built a reputation for street anthems with booming southern delivery. But his career has always been interrupted by legal problems. Back in 2010, he caught 8 years for aggravated robbery. He served 6 before getting out, but that wasn't the end of his troubles. In 2017, Finesse got hit with federal charges for illegal possession. That case came with a 5-year sentence, and he didn't walk out of federal custody until July 2022. During that time, hip-hop kept moving, and when he got out, he had to rebuild everything from scratch. But the Memphis scene welcomed him back. He started recording again, dropped new music, and tried to get his career back on track. Here's where things get complicated with Moneybag Yo. These two have history that goes way back. In 2017, around the same time Finesse was catching his federal case, he and Moneybag had beef. Social media posts, diss tracks, the whole thing played out publicly. Then Finesse went away for 5 years. When he came home in 2022, something unexpected happened. The 2 Memphis rappers squashed their beef. Finesse actually signed to Moneybag Yo's Bread Gang label, and they even released a collaboration called Black Visa together. According to Hot New Hip Hop and All Hip Hop, Finesse publicly admitted he was wrong about the original beef. On the Big Facts podcast in 2022, he said time showed him he was in the wrong and that he didn't understand back then. The reconciliation seemed genuine. For a minute, it looked like 2 Memphis artists who had problems were going to move forward together and make money instead of beefing. But that partnership didn't last. By October 2024, Finesse was no longer signed to Bread Gang. During a live stream that month, according to multiple outlets, Finesse confirmed he and Moneybag had gone separate ways. He said they didn't leave on bad terms, that it just ran its course. He even mentioned missing Moneybag's friendship and wanting to get back in the studio with him. But he also admitted trust was gone between them. The split raised questions. When 2 rappers who publicly reconciled after beef suddenly part ways. People start speculating. Was there tension nobody knew about? Did business disagreements happen behind the scenes? Finesse kept saying there was no bad blood, but the fact that he brought up trust being gone suggested something had changed between them. Then there's Finesse's personal life, which has been messy and public. He made headlines for having a polyamorous relationship with multiple girlfriends. His main girlfriend, FNG Sugar, whose real name is Hallie Mona Buckingham, has been ride or die for him. She got his face tattooed on her leg back in August 2023, a massive portrait that showed how committed she was. The two share a daughter named Clever, who was born in June 2024 in a home birth that Finesse documented on social media. What's relevant now is that Sugar has been arrested alongside Finesse multiple times. She's not just his girlfriend. She's been there for every one of these Texas arrests, facing her own charges each time. That loyalty is about to be tested in a major way as she sits in jail on a $500,000 bond while he's out. Now this is when things really popped off. On September 21st, 2025, Finesse2Tymes and FNG Sugar performed at a concert in Tyler, Texas, which is in Smith County. After the show, they were driving when police pulled them over for a seatbelt violation. According to court documents and reports from the Beat DFW and All Hip Hop, officers smelled something during the traffic stop and spotted a hand-rolled item in the ashtray. That gave officers probable cause to search the vehicle. During the search, police say they saw Sugar grab a bag from the passenger floorboard. That movement caught their attention, and when they checked the bag, they found substances. Specifically, they recovered 0.7 ounces, 12 pills, and 7 methylphenidate pills, which is a stimulant typically prescribed for attention disorders. Both Finesse and Sugar were arrested on the spot. They faced multiple charges. Finesse got hit with possession and related charges, while Sugar faced similar counts. But here's the thing, they both made bond by 4:50 a.m. the next morning. They were out within hours, which told you the charges, while serious, weren't severe enough to keep them locked up at that point. That first arrest set a pattern. East Texas, substances, a traffic stop or similar encounter, and both of them getting picked up together. At the time, people in the hip-hop community talked about it, but it didn't blow up into a huge story. Rappers get arrested. It happens. The assumption was Finesse would handle his case and move on, but that's not even the craziest part. On October 20th, 2025, less than a month after the first arrest, Finesse got picked up again. This time it was in Dallas-Fort Worth, and he was booked into Harrison County Jail. According to Hot 97 and jail records, he faced multiple counts of possession covering different penalty groups. Penalty Group 1 or 1B typically involves substances like certain pills or other high-risk items. Penalty Group 2 includes things that might be considered less severe but still serious under Texas law. Finesse also caught a charge for tampering with evidence and for bringing prohibited items into a correctional facility. That last charge is significant because it means something happened after he was arrested, either at the jail or during processing, that led to an additional count. No bond was set initially, which meant he sat in custody for a period of time. Then on November 20th, 2025, Finesse got arrested a third time. According to DJ Academics and the Jasmine brand, he was booked into Harrison County Jail again, this time on an outstanding warrant. Finesse had actually announced on his Instagram story earlier that week that he was planning to turn himself in. He knew there was a warrant out for him, and he was preparing to deal with it. The charges this time weren't immediately clear from the initial reports, but the fact that he was arrested 3 times in 2 months showed a pattern that law enforcement and prosecutors were definitely noticing. For someone trying to rebuild a rap career after serving federal time, these arrests were devastating. Studio time, shows, collaborations, all of it gets put on hold when you're sitting in county jail. But here's where it gets interesting. On January 14th, 2026, FNG Sugar was arrested in Rusk County, Texas. The next day, January 15th, Finesse2Tymes was arrested in the same county. According to jail records reviewed by Keck News and Action News 5 Memphis, Finesse faced 3 charges: possession of a controlled substance in Penalty Group 2, and having a prohibited substance or item in a correctional or civil commitment facility. Sugar's charges were more severe. She got hit with 5 counts: possession, tampering or fabricating with physical evidence with intent to impair, possession of a controlled substance in Penalty Group 2, and a U.S. Marshal detainer, which meant federal authorities had flagged her case for potential additional action. The bond situation tells the whole story. Finesse made bond. Sugar didn't. Her bond was set at $526,000. That's not a number you see often, unless prosecutors believe someone is a serious flight risk or the charges are particularly severe. That $500,000 figure meant Sugar was staying locked up unless someone could could come up with that money, which wasn't happening quickly. This marked Finesse's third arrest in East Texas since September 2025. 3 different arrests, all in the same general region, all involving similar charges, and all with FNG Suga by his side until this last one where she couldn't make bond. The pattern was impossible to ignore. Law enforcement in East Texas was watching him closely, and every time he got picked up, the charges stuck. The hip-hop community started talking when news of the latest arrest dropped. But what really got people's attention was what Finesse posted after he made bond and got out. Hours after walking free, he hit Instagram with accusations that shocked Memphis hip-hop. According to No Jumper and Complex, Finesse posted on his Instagram story, "Bag put the police on me. Y'all be wanting me to go to jail so bad, don't carry nothing but some za and a yerk or 2 y'all some real haters." That first post alone was enough to set social media on fire. He was directly accusing Moneybag Yo of snitching, of calling the police on him, of being responsible for his arrest. In hip-hop culture, that's one of the most serious accusations you can make. Calling someone a snitch or saying they cooperate with law enforcement can destroy careers and reputations. But Finesse didn't stop there. In a follow-up post captured by the Jasmine brand and All Hip Hop, he wrote, "And Bag, you know I know the truth. Yo cousin big homie G name been in paperwork, got the damn 'em in real time, and y'all swept teas under the rug, so quit speaking on rats and you at one." That second post added another layer. Finesse was now claiming that Moneybag's cousin had paperwork showing cooperation with authorities, and that information had been buried or ignored. He was essentially saying Moneybag and his circle were hypocrites, calling out others for snitching while being connected to people who did the exact same thing. The accusations spread across Instagram and Twitter within hours. Hip-hop blogs picked it up immediately. The Shade Room, Hot New Hip Hop, Complex, XXL, all the major outlets ran stories about Finesse's claims. Comment sections exploded with people taking sides, debating whether Finesse had proof or was just deflecting blame for his own repeated arrests. Finesse also posted about Suga. In an emotional message, he wrote, "I ain't gonna lie, I'm sick without a Shug. On God, don't nobody know like her." That post showed how much it was affecting him to be out while she remained locked up. For someone who'd been arrested alongside her multiple times, seeing her stuck behind bars on a bond she couldn't make had to be difficult. What's notable is Moneybag Yo's response, or lack of one. As of mid-January 2026, Moneybag hasn't said anything publicly about Finesse's accusations. No Instagram posts, no Twitter responses, no statements through his team. According to the Jasmine brand, Moneybag tends to stay out of drama, and this situation appears to be no different. His silence could mean several things. Maybe he's taking the high road. Maybe his lawyers told him not to engage. Or maybe he just doesn't think Finesse's claims deserve a response. The contrast between the two is stark. Finesse is out here making explosive accusations on social media, while Moneybag is silent. In hip-hop beef, sometimes the person who stays quiet comes out looking better because they're not feeding into the drama. Other times, silence gets interpreted as guilt or weakness. It depends on how people choose to see it. Radio stations in Memphis covered the story extensively. According to sources close to the situation, the local hip-hop community was divided. Some people thought Finesse was just making excuses for his own mistakes, pointing out that he's been arrested 3 times in 4 months and maybe needs to look at his own choices instead of blaming others. Other people wondered if there was truth to what he was saying, especially given the specific nature of his claims about paperwork and Moneybag's cousin. Industry figures stayed mostly quiet. Nobody wanted to publicly pick a side between 2 Memphis artists, especially when one of them was making snitching accusations. That's the kind of beef where staying neutral is the safest move. Getting involved could damage your own reputation depending on which side ends up being right. Fans on social media had plenty to say. Some pointed out that if Moneybag really wanted Finesse in jail, he had a weird way of showing it by signing him to Bread Gang and releasing music with him just 2 years ago. Others noted that Finesse has been on federal supervised release since 2022, which means he's already being watched closely by authorities, and any new arrests automatically bring more scrutiny. The timing also raised questions. If Finesse believed Moneybag was behind his arrests, why wait until the third one to say something? Why not call it out after the first arrest in September or the second one in October? The fact that he stayed quiet until January, when his girlfriend was locked up on a massive bond and he was facing his third case in 4 months, made some people skeptical of his claims. But that's not even the craziest part. The immediate fallout from Finesse's accusations has been quiet on the surface, but significant underneath. According to entertainment reporters and hip-hop journalists, the Memphis rap scene is watching this situation closely. Moneybag Yo has built his brand on being successful, staying out of drama, and focusing on music and money. Finesse's accusations, if left unaddressed, could damage that image, especially if more details come out. For Finesse, the consequences are more immediate. He's facing charges in multiple cases across different Texas counties. Each case comes with potential prison time. His federal supervised release status makes everything worse because any conviction could send him back to federal prison to finish his original sentence, plus whatever new time he gets from these state cases. So that's where we're at with this whole situation. As of January 16, 2026, Finesse2Tymes is out on bond but facing charges in multiple Texas cases. FNG Sugar remains in Rusk County Jail on a $526,000 bond. Her charges include tampering with evidence and weapon charges on top of possession counts, which is why her bond is so high. Finesse has been posting about missing her and struggling with her being locked up, showing the emotional toll the situation is taking on both of them. Moneybag Yo has stayed completely silent on the accusations. No social media posts, no interviews, no statements through his team. According to multiple entertainment outlets, that's consistent with how Moneybag typically handles drama, by not engaging with it publicly. Whether he'll eventually respond or just let the situation fade depends on if more developments force his hand. The legal proceedings are moving forward in Texas courts. Finesse faces potential trial dates in Smith County, Harrison County, and now Rusk County. His federal supervised release status hangs over everything like a sword ready to drop. Any conviction in any of these cases could trigger a federal supervised release violation that sends him back to federal prison. Keep your eyes on several things moving forward. First, whether Finesse's legal team can negotiate deals in any of these Texas cases or if they go to trial. With 3 separate cases across different counties, the legal bills alone are going to be substantial. Fighting multiple cases simultaneously while also dealing with potential federal supervised release violations creates a legal nightmare that's expensive and time-consuming to navigate. Second, watch if FNG Sugar can make bond or if she stays locked up until her trial. That $526,000 figure is not something most people can come up with easily. If she ends up sitting in jail for months waiting for trial, that puts enormous pressure on their relationship and their family situation with their young daughter. Third, the impact on Finesse's music career and public image. He released his latest album, Stuck in My Ways, back in March 2025. The album features collaborations and showed he was trying to build momentum. But you can't promote an album when you're in and out of jail. Shows get canceled, interviews get postponed, momentum gets killed. At some point, fans and industry people start writing you off as unreliable. Fourth, whether any proof emerges to support Finesse's accusations against Moneybag. Right now, it's just his word versus Moneybag's silence. If documents surface showing what Finesse claimed about Moneybag's cousin, that changes everything. If nothing surfaces and Finesse can't back up what he said, the accusations start looking like deflection and excuse-making. The bigger picture here shows how cycles repeat in hip-hop. Artist gets hot, gets arrested, does time, comes home, tries to rebuild, gets arrested again. Finesse's story isn't unique. What makes it notable is who he's pointing the finger at and the specific accusations he's making. The Memphis rap scene has seen plenty of beef over the years, but accusations of police cooperation cut deeper than typical rap rivalry. There's also the ongoing question about accountability and choices. Finesse has been in trouble repeatedly since getting out of federal prison in 2022. At what point do you look at your own decisions and patterns instead of blaming external factors? His supporters say he's being targeted unfairly. His critics say he keeps putting himself in bad situations. The truth is probably somewhere in between, but the consequences are the same regardless. The relationship between Finesse and Moneybag will probably never recover from these accusations. Even if Finesse eventually recants or admits he was wrong, the damage is done. You can't take back calling someone a snitch in hip-hop culture. That accusation follows people forever, deserved or not. Whether Moneybag addresses it or continues staying silent, the accusation exists in the public record now. The personal cost to Finesse's family can't be understated. His mother already posted publicly about being disappointed in him. His girlfriend is locked up on a $500,000 bond. His daughter is growing up with both parents dealing with legal problems. The cycle of arrests and court dates creates instability that affects everyone connected to him, not just Finesse himself. What started as a traffic stop in September has turned into a situation that's changed multiple lives and could end careers. Whether you believe Finesse's accusations against Moneybag or think he's making excuses, the fact remains he's facing serious time across multiple cases. His federal supervised release status means he could end up back in federal prison even if he beats the Texas charges. The walls are closing in from multiple directions. Now I want to hear from you. What do you think about Finesse's accusations against Moneybag Yo? Does he have any real proof, or is he just deflecting blame for his own repeated arrests? Should Moneybag respond publicly, or is staying silent the smart move? How do you think this affects both of their careers moving forward? Drop all your thoughts in the comments below. I read every single one, and I want to know where you stand on this. If this breakdown gave you the full story on Finesse's situation and kept it real from start to finish. do me a favor and smash that subscribe button. Hit the notification bell too so you don't miss any updates on this case as it develops. Trust me, with Finesse facing multiple cases and Shugga still locked up, there's going to be more to this story, and you'll want to be here when the next chapter drops. Share this video with anyone who's been following Finesse's situation or anyone who needs to understand what really went down between him and Moneybagg. The more people who know the full story, the better the conversations we can have about it. And if you want to see more deep dives like this on major hip-hop stories, let me know in the comments what situations you want me to break down next. I'm here to give you the facts without the fluff, and your support keeps this going. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next video.